The other guys that might be the voice of reason in terms of all these liberals and all these Democrat voters and all these libtards who are against cleaning up the government. What are they thinking about? And the older millennial, Team FU Joe, says, if you had told me 10 years ago that the number one cause liberals would be fighting for is the right of our government to spend trillions in other countries while we go into debt, what kind of crusade is that? What kind of a stance is that? And let's listen to the older millennials word.
Do you fucking liberals recognize that the main cause you're fighting for right now is for the right of unelected bureaucrats to spend billions of our tax dollars in other countries? That's the side you're on right now. That's what you're making videos about. That's what you're writing articles on Substack about. That's what you're protesting for. That's what you're filing lawsuits to make sure happens.
Yeah, it's like I'm making videos, maybe not right on Substack, I'm not on Substack, but I'm making videos to expose the reality of what is going on. And there are actually people making videos protesting that Elon Musk is exposing all this. They are against drained in the swamp. They are pro spending all their taxpayer money, the tax money that they pay themselves. They are protesting, making videos, making a stand, going to Blue Sky, trying to that this is all also unfair. This is insane. This is peak insanity. This is I don't know. Again, I've tried to let's say think of how or on what can the Democrats run for 2028, and I have no idea. They are completely lost. They have to rebuild themselves from scratch. And as for me, well, I just hope that AOC and this other lady that I forgot her name the other day, they keep opening their mouths and opening their Instagram accounts to all that insanity, because that is just marvelous to watch. What are they going to do? Not complaining. We are based in common sense. This guy, I began following him, by the way. He's speaking common sense, and he's exposing what these liberals are for, to spend their own money on what? On trans operas for Somalia or something like that. I don't know.
Are you fucking stupid? Imagine if I had told you 10 years ago that in 2025, the thing liberals in America would most be fighting for is for billions, if not trillions of dollars of their money to be spent in other countries on things that don't benefit America in any fucking way, while America goes farther and farther into debt. What if I had told you 10 years ago that you'd be fighting for the right of politicians to be able to line their pockets with bullshit payments to bullshit programs in bullshit countries? You wouldn't have believed me. That's where we are. That's what you're fighting for. And what you're fighting against? You're fighting against people who just want to audit our government, who just want to audit our governmental agencies, people who just want to see where we're spending money, where we're wasting money, and where we're committing fraud. And you're fighting against that. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are, because this is the thing that I've told you that is so dangerous about this crowd thinking. Or there's another term for that. It's like since Trump is in the government, then since they are against Trump, there's no way Trump does anything that could be good. And that is one of the worst way of thinking. Again, I've told you so many times that you have to separate the action from the person. Sometimes people that we totally and completely despise, sometimes those people that we despise do things and say things that make sense. And you pause for a second and you say, hey, wait a minute, this absolutely makes sense. I always talk about Hugo Chavez, the main responsible for destroying my country, Venezuela. And I always remember the example that he said one thing in his very long period as emperor of Venezuela. He said one thing that makes sense, and it's still today. It made sense back then, and it makes sense right now. He said, I'm going to paraphrase him, that at some point, if it's very ironic that he said that. He said that at some point, a country, the people of a country can become so upset, so oppressed, so everything. Their treatment can be so unjust that the only way out is violence. And he was right. He was right back then. He's dead now, but he's still right now. That's something that has been true since the dawn of time. If you are a stupid person and you despise Hugo Chavez, you will find a way to, let's say, challenge that. And that would be stupid, because even if somebody, you don't like him, I still don't like him, that makes sense. Okay, that was one of the reasons he made sure to sign that, to get that law to disarm Venezuelans. We could own guns. Okay, we could own guns up to 2012, and all these representatives at Congress who are one more retarded than the other. And yes, I have to say that Maria Corina Machado is one of them. Thank you, Maria Corina. You also raised your hand when all them, by unanimity, all then signed the law to disarm Venezuelans. Thank you very much. Maybe you never grabbed a fucking history book and you didn't realize that if you take the guns out of the people, then, well, the people will not have the means to defend themselves against a tyrannical government. But, well, the rest of history. That's why I'm telling you, for Americans, make sure that Second Amendment that remains in place no matter what. That Second Amendment protects you from the government. That is important. But this is the thing. I digress. But it's the same thing. It's like these people cannot think. These people cannot separate. That cannot realize that Trump is doing something actually good. The moment they glitched is when Trump banned men from women's sports. I mean, there were still here and there, especially on Reddit, of course, people complaining about this, saying that this was unfair, but you saw a certain silence in the left-leaning media or the paid-for media, and in most of the left of the leftards, they said, okay, this is something that we agree on, and they did not criticize Trump. It would have been absurd. It would have been absurd, but some of them did. So when Elon Musk, for example, says that he is going to audit Fort Knox to see if the gold is still there, which is important, right? Because it hasn't been audited in, 70 years? 70 years? This question is important. Thank you, Pepe. How much did USAID give to opposition, quote unquote, in Venezuela? Millions of dollars. I don't know effectively how many, but I know that checks were written. At least 20 million. I should talk about that. 20 million were paid for, or 30 million. We still don't know. And that's a topic for another video, but I should expose them as well. I should expose them. But if Elon Musk says, hey, you know what? We should open Fort Knox to see if the gold is still there. Are people going to complain? Maybe maybe they can live stream on X. Let's open Fort Knox and let's count the gold. How do you call it? Los lingotes de oro. The gold bars. Elon Musk proposes to live stream a real-time video tour of Fort Knox, allowing Americans to verify the presence of the 4,580 tons of gold stored there. We need to know, and, well, Senator Rand Paul was okay with that. Dodge is now proving Fort Knox gold reserves.
Well, I've been trying to go down and see the gold and make sure it's all there for about 10 years. During the first Trump administration, I got permission. You have to get permission all the way up to the Secretary of Treasury. And then the Secretary of Treasury said, well, I want to go down there too. And then he said, I want to go down there when the eclipse is coming through Kentucky too, so I can see the eclipse and the gold at the same time. But they came when I wasn't there. So I tried for 10 years. I set up the appointment. And then because they wanted to see the eclipse, they changed the appointment. I didn't get to go down. But the Secretary of Treasury and the senior senator from Kentucky did go down and attest that they believe they saw the gold down there.
They believe they saw the goal. What if I it's like Mission Impossible. You have some kind of a projector that projects a hologram of the goal. Unless you touch the goal with your own hands, you will not be sure if the goal is there. So that is concerning. They believe they saw the goal down now. That is a bit of hearsay.
So what do you think the problem is?
I think some of them may not think it needs to be audited all the time, but I think the more sunlight, the better, more transparency, the better. Yeah. And also it brings attention to the fact that gold still has value, and implicitly, not explicitly, but implicitly, gold still gives value to the dollar. Yeah. That's why we don't get rid of it. We've got it. The IMF has it. The World Bank has it. Most of the central banks around the world have gold, and it's an implicit trust that the dollar still has some back.
Well, one thing that people are saying that it could be like not a conspiracy theory, but it can be a theory that one side it could be the problem that there are not all the tons of gold that should be there. That they are missing a couple tons or maybe a couple dozen tons. So who knows? But the other theory is that there could be more gold than there should be there. So the question would be, where did that more gold came from? If there's more gold than there should be registered, right? It would be odd as well if you have some kind of audit of how much gold is in the reserves, and if they're more or less, either scenario would be suspicious. And these people are against the transparency. This is a thing that I tell you is so dangerous. One has to have, one of the most important things that you can develop is critical thinking. And you have to look at things for what they are. As in, that Javier Milei from Argentina issued a meme coin. I could say a shit meme coin, and it essentially collapsed, as most meme coins do, and now he's in a lot of trouble. My question is, why did he do that? Why did he issue a meme coin? How is it possible that somebody who is focused on something as important as, recovering Argentina, and he was doing such a great job, you're going to tarnish what you're doing with a meme coin? And again, in my opinion, whatever Donald Trump did with his meme coin and Melania Trump did with her meme coin, I think that was a very bad sign. That was a red flag, because in 99% of scenarios, people lose money with those initiatives. So, that's the thing. That's how we have to call things out. We need to call things out when they're okay, and we need to call things out when they are not okay. But in the sense of libtards and Democrats, it seems that they went so insane that it was quite easy calling out what was against common sense. But I would like to know what you think about all this in the comments.